I welcome all the participants for the second day of our Bridge Course third week series. Actually, this is a 5-week series which is going on. So I welcome all the participants. It shows your interest in mathematics, and we are happy to be of help. And we like to share our knowledge with you. So as of the workshop, we have seen what Tamichelvi ma'am has been doing. So today's presentation, as she told you yesterday, it would be the continuation of matrices, what she left off, and the rest of that would be trigonometry. Before the session starts, I would like to give you a brief introduction about our college, that is Alpha College of Engineering. So Alpha College of Engineering, it's headed by me. I'm the principal of the college, Dr. B. Soumya. And I have nearly 25 years of experience in engineering and academics as well as research. So this is actually very much nearer to Chennai. That is, it is situated near to Pundamalli at Tirumalizai. Our college been established in the year 2006 in the area of 65 acres. The built-up area is 12 acres. It is approved by AICTE and affiliated to Anna University. And our institution is been certified by ISO 9000 and 2015 for its standard. We offer 5 UG programs, both in the stream of engineering and technology, and 1 PG program. The UG programs we offer are biomedical engineering, computer science engineering, electronics and communication engineering, mechanical engineering under the engineering stream. Then under technology stream, we do offer information technology. If you do consider the engineering courses we offer, this is very much helpful for all the walks, that is in your walk of life, you would be seeing all these engineering. If you see biomedical engineering, as you know, at this COVID time, ventilators and other things you have been hearing. So these ventilators are being made by biomedical engineers. Any medical equipment for that matter, either it be an X-ray machine, either it be ultrasonic scanner or MRI scanner, anything. All these diagnostic tools which the doctors use are made by biomedical engineers. So if you see, many of the students thing is everybody wants to become a doctor if they do choose biology course. We do hope that all of you get your seat in MBBS. But in case if you are not able to crack through NEET, then the very best next thing you can do is you can join biomedical engineering. So you will be taught everything, pathology, anatomy, everything, whatever been taught in for MBBS course is being taught in biomedical engineering. Apart from that, you will be learning engineering as well. So from the engineering perspective, you would be applying your medical knowledge and you will be creating an wonderful equipments and diagnosis of diseases. All these things can be done by the biomedical engineers. So if you wish to become an engineer who would be helpful to the society and who would want to be a healthcare professional, then it is very well that you choose biomedical engineering. Then computer science and engineering, you know that you have been seeing computer science and engineering everywhere. So what we have been doing, plenty of data is available. So all these data we are trying to diagnose, and without computer, nobody can be there. Like earlier, it used to be a day when we didn't see computer at all. In 1980s, when we were studying, so we didn't see computers. So during our UG course or PG course only, we have started seeing computers. So before that, we never had an exposure to computer. Now everybody knows what is computer and what it can do. It can do plenty of things which cannot be done by ordinary human being. It can do calculation as fast as possible. And whatever we see in computer science and engineering, either it be banking sector or stock market, everywhere we do see computer engineers role. And electronics and information technology is part of it that I'll finish off, because both are allied. Computer science and information technology, both are allied fields. So computer science engineering, apart from usually information technology, is application of computer science. Whatever they learn in computer science, that would be applied in information technology. So the only difference is that, but other than that, both of the thing that by computer science and engineering, information technologies, both are placed at the same position. Then electronics and communication engineering, now we are creating this Zoom class. Is it possible? Remotely can we operate? Earlier television with remote control itself was a wonder. We were thinking, usually we used to turn channels up. So now it has come to the day that whoever is residing in remote places, we are communicating with Zoom class. This application, which takes everybody, whoever is in remote area, getting connected, is your communication. So that is what is happening now. So this is because of electronics and communication engineering. Without a mobile phone, I think nobody can be there. So the app building, the app, this thing, everything requires electronics and communication engineers input. Then mechanical engineering, the robotics we see, automation, industrial automation is very much dependent on mechanical engineers. So they have to know the materials to use. If you are building a robo also, or aeroplane, or for that matter, helicopter, all these things, a mechanical engineer's role is very much needed. Any automobile industry cannot exist with a mechanical engineer, because they are the one who are giving them the input, like what should be the material they use, and what weight or what density of material they have to take. All these things are given by the mechanical engineers, and the design they make, how it is gears and all connected, how it makes the shaft move, all these things are the role of the mechanical engineering. So all these engineering field are important. So if you want to choose engineering, depending on your field of interest, you can choose any one of engineering, any one of these engineering. Then PG programs we offer is Master of Business Administration. So the eligibility for BE course, as you know, it is with diploma. You can join second year. If you are an plus two passed out, then you can join BE directly in the first year. So Master of Business Administration, the eligibility they can have, they should possess a UG degree. So it can be in engineering also. So we offer Master of Business Administration as well. So the college aims at making a student best in their chosen field. So this is our aim. So whatever be the level of a student, when they do enter the college, when they move out of the college, we want them to be the best. So that is why this chart is going from good to best. So during the 4 years you are in with us, you will become a best in your chosen field. For that, we have got student assisting unit. One is career development cell. Another one is entrepreneurship development cell. Then we have got big training cell, SysMem training, as well as Pan IIT leadership series. So this career development cell, what we have is, we want our student to be an excellent personality. So the personality should actually attract all the people, either it be a job provider or job seeker. We want them all to be attracted to our student. So for that, we offer them aptitude training. Aptitude training, as you very well know, this is based on quantitative reasoning, logical thinking, and analytical reasoning. So this aptitude training we offer our students. So mathematical ability we build their logical thinking. We also build their qualitative ability. That is interpersonal skills training is for that. They can work in a group. As you know, many of the projects you cannot single-handedly do it. No project is done single-handedly. So you have to work in a team. So the team spirit that we have to give our students. So for that, we develop their interpersonal skills by providing them interpersonal skills training. Then soft skills training also we provide, that is for communication. So we want them to communicate and have proper posture, and all these things are given in soft skill training. All these three trainings helps them build their personality. So the overall personality of our student is built up by career development cell. Then we have got our entrepreneurship development cell. As I feel like our students, they shouldn't simply be a job seeker, they should be a job provider. For that, this entrepreneurship development cell helps. So what they do here is, they do help the students in their ventures. If they come up with a small project which they want to launch as a product, then our entrepreneurship development cell helps them. So for that, we have been tying up with many prestigious institutions like NSIC, MSME, EDA, NEN, Enactus. So these people give seminars which help our students to know how to go about making a product and making a new venture or starting up a new company. So all these things they help with. And apart from that, the funding of these small products, what they develop as a startup project, also been given to them by these prestigious institutions. Then we offer business English certification. So this business English certification, it is a globally acknowledged certification. So actually it is internationally benchmarked certification. This is offered by Cambridge University. So you know that the 4 basic skills of any language is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So we help our student learn all 4 skills. That is listening, speaking, reading, and writing of English. So the ultimate aim for giving them business English certification courses to improve their employability skills and improve their communication skills as well. We have a different center of excellence for all the branches. Cisco Laboratory is providing the CCNA certification. CCNA certification has got 5 level of certification. Each certification, if you do see, it would be 30,000 when you do it outside. So this we offer free of cost for our students. This CCNA certification is a networking certification which can be taken up by ECE, computer science, IT. If mechanical and biomedical people are interested in learning networking also, they also can take up this certification course. Autodesk Inventor certification, it is basically a CAD designing certification provided by Autodesk. So this certification also we offer free of cost, which would be charged outside. Then we have got this we have tied up with Oracle Academy. Oracle Academy provides Oracle certification, Java programming certification, and R programming certification. We have tied up with Dell EMC for big data analytic design. So as you know, data analytics is the order of the day, because plenty of data is available. Once internet has come, everybody is feeding in data. That data has to be analyzed and properly used so that we can arrive at a proper solution. So this big data analytic design helps in doing that. Then we have got tied up with Pan IIT Leadership Series, that is PALSA. Every student who wants to become an engineer, they want definitely to crack JEE and join IIT. So that is their dream. An engineer wants to do their engineering mainly in IITs. So for that, our student, though it is not IIT, we want to give them what IIT is all about. So for that, we have tied up with Pan IIT Leadership Series. So they offer us seminars from IIT professors. Then we have got residential workshops at IIT itself. Students go and participate at workshops in IIT. They arrange industrial visits with leading industries. Then they do competitions in which our students do participate. So if these competitions, if you do see, it is conducted by PALS. Many of the colleges who are partnering with PALS are joining this competition. So this is an Innova program, innovative design of any projects are being done. So that project competition, our students also do participate and win prizes. Then we have got SwissMem certification. So SwissMem certification, as you know, there are 2 countries which are all about precise engineering. One is Switzerland, another one is Germany. So Switzerland offers precise engineering. So whatever, if you want to be a very good engineer or know engineering, what engineering is all about, Switzerland is a place to go. If all the people cannot afford to do their degree in Switzerland, so for that we have tied up with Switzerland on offer 2 certification courses. One is machine learning, another one is mechatronics. Machine learning, it is part of artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? It is all about a humanoid or a machine which takes up data and do things on its own. It doesn't need any human intervention. For example, if you take a robot working in an environment where human cannot possibly go, then what it does, it takes a video through its camera and see what is the scenario. So in that scenario, what has to happen? If there is fire or smoke somewhere, then it has got a fire extinguisher on it. Then immediately, if it senses fire with a fire sensor or even with a photograph of the place, then automatically it shows the fire extinguisher and extinguishes the fire. So this doesn't require any human intervention. So wherever human cannot go, these robots or humanoids can go. So that is automatically giving that intelligence which cannot be done with other thing. Like, so that is all machine learning is about. So what machine learning does is it takes input from an environment, it learns from the environment, then with that it would be giving some output which would be automatically done without the human intervention. So this pandemic situation now we have during this coronavirus, you have seen that robo humanoids being used for nursing the patients in China. So what they actually do is they take up the intelligence of human, like whatever be the condition of patient, whether it is the temperature measurement, that is whether it is about his BP or anything. So those sensory data are fed to the humanoid. So this humanoid knows that these people need this thing. So the proper medicine is being fed by the humanoid. So it takes untimely medication has to be given by the humanoid. So all these things require an artificial intelligence, which is humanoid. So that is all machine learning is about. So that is what we offer for our students. And mechatronics, because mechatronics is the one which helps the students to build a robot. If you want to build a robot and give it intelligence, both these things are required. So this is the order of the day. Machine learning is not only applicable for robotics field alone, it is applicable anywhere, wherever prediction is required, whether it is going to rain tomorrow or not. Then that knowledge can be done by, that prediction can be done by machine learning algorithms. So all these things we offer our students free of cost. And we offer skill track online courses. This is for giving our students an understanding of what online courses is all about. This helps them build their programming skills as well as the problem solving skills. Both things are given. So this helps them ultimately perform their competitive exams well. So next we will see a college achievements. Our college stood at 40th rank in top 100 engineering colleges in India. And our student, Miss Malavika Nair, got University Gold Medal and University First Rank. And this is the photograph of her receiving her gold medal from Honorable Governor Banwarilal Purohit. And this is the photograph of a college receiving Teaching Excellence Award in the year 2019 from Education Matters. So we consistently produce university rank and gold medals. And our students and staff get their projects funded by government agencies like AICTE, ISRO, Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology, etc. Then we offer our students industrial training and internship in leading industries. That includes international internship as well. Two of our students gone to Taipei University for doing their internship. The cost, it is under full scholarship, they went there. And our college has achieved consistently 100% placement. We received many awards for our students' projects as well. Our students do higher studies abroad in many European countries as well as US, Canada, and Germany. We have got excellent sports facilities. These are the grounds of college. We got spacious grounds where cricket can be played, and we have got the football ground as well. Our students have won gold medals in zonal and state levels. One of our students been selected for national level participation. And we offer school students scholarship. For SC/ST student, 100% tuition fee waiver is there. And for first graduate, there is a fees concession of 25,000. And there are merit scholarship, which is exclusively offered by Alpha for students scoring 90% and above in their +2 exam, and 75% above, there is another slab, and 65% above, another slab is there. So our learning environment is very friendly. Our staff are very dedicated and they are well trained and well equipped. All these things they learn, they can impart knowledge to our students, whatever their level may be. And our non-teaching staff are well behaved and they are very polite as well. This is an amicable learning environment. We invite all of you to come to our college and learn. So Alpha College of Engineering is a home away from home. So you need not feel homesick or anything. You can come to Alpha and feel at home. So this is this coronavirus pandemic time. You stay home, stay informed, and you do stay safe. Thank you. Over to you, Sujata.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your presentation, ma'am. Participants, if you have any queries related to the college admission or anything, you can contact our admission team. So now I would like to invite Mrs. Tamil Selvi ma'am, Professor and HOD of Mathematics, to take over the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Sujata ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning and welcome back, dear students. By thanking the management principal and our staff coordinator, Professor Sujata ma'am from the ECE department, I continue.
Hello.
Ma'am, Tamil Selvi ma'am, can you hear us? I think ma'am is just having a little bit of technical difficulties.
Yes, sir. Participants, I request you to wait for 2 minutes. Ma'am will come online. Hello.
Hello.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, is
now,
it visible?
you're audible but not visible. Now it's visible, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So yesterday we have learned about matrices and determinants. So first we went through sets and we saw some application of sets also, and then we saw matrices and determinants. So actually determinant helps matrices. So matrices is the parent topic. Now today we shall see what are the application of matrices in mostly engineering field or real life field. So everybody is interested in games and puzzles. So and we can see that there are many applications of matrices in games. Without matrices, no graphics can be done because all the data are arranged in rows and columns. And moreover, government and military organization websites. So they also use matrices. Then financial information like credit card. So there also the theory of matrix is very much needed, and of course information security. So they relate to encode and decode here. And now let us see one by one. So the coding and decoding, it is used utilizing steganography and cryptography. So steganography is the image that can be viewed different images. So the images are hidden, and when you focus different types of lights, you can see the image, different images.
Tamil Selvi ma'am, sorry to disturb you.
Yes, sir.
Your voice is a little disturbed, ma'am. Could you just check your audio?
Yeah, actually now only it says that internet is unstable. So I think within due course it will become stable.
Okay.
Now also am I gathering, sir?
Yes, ma'am. It's a little unclear. The audio.
Unclear. Okay. I will just stop share and again start sharing with the computer audio.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Hello. Now is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. It's okay,
yes.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. But while sharing, I have to click that button. So this is steganography and also cryptography. Cryptography, we know that it is all about encipher and decipher. So there also the matrices, concept of matrices are being used. So to look into this, see here there is one message attack is tonight. So that we have to encrypt. So when to encrypt that, you need the multiplication of matrices. So how we are doing it, we'll see one example. First of all, you should know what are the codes for the characters. That is, if you are restricting yourself with alphabets, it will be only 26. But if you want to include even the other symbols that like comma, characters, question mark, space, everything. So you need 41 symbols. So you need, first of all, you should know these are all standard codes. And more than this also there are codes. Now generally this will be used first Hill-Cipher method. So in this method what they do is you just take one sentence and then first of all you need a key. So this key will be shared with the sender and receiver. From the sender to receiver this key will be shared. It can be a 2 by 2 matrix or 3 by 3 matrix according to the pack of the information. Now, if you want to convert the word book, so you can see that there are this letter O is repeated. Now let us see how this is being deciphered. Enciphered. So that is, so if you take this key, it is a 2 by 2 matrix. That means only 2 letters you can at a time encode. That is, see B equal to, from the previous slide, we have to take what is the numerical value given to B. B is 2 and 0 is 15. Then step 3 is you just according to this you form a column matrix. So 2 by 2 column, 2 by 1 matrix, that is a column matrix. So then only according to law of matrices multiplication, the number of rows should be equal to the number of columns of the second matrix. The number of rows of the first matrix should be equal to the number of columns of the second matrix. If you want to take this as a 3 by 3 matrix, then you have to go take 3 alphabets. Then you can do the thing. Or if you want to do it at one shot, that is the four letters you want to take, you can take 4 by 4 matrices. And this according to this O equal to 15, and then these two things you have to multiply. So 5, 3, 11, 8 into 2 15. So now this actually should be reduced to mod 26. What do you mean by mod? So modulus is nothing but, see, if you multiply this, what is happening? 5 into 2, 10, plus 3 into 15, 45. So 55. So 55, when you divide by 26 and take the remainder. Okay, so 26 in 55, there are 2 times 26 are there. So it will be, then the remainder has to be taken. And now, so again, you decipher it. So what is the letter 3 refers to in the code? That is 3 letters to refers to C and 12 refers to L. Then same way, OK. So this OK also has to be done. Then it is DS. So CLDS. So the enciphered code is for book is CLDS. Now you can know that O is not coded the second time as the same as in the first time. So for the first time it is coded as L and second time it is coded as D. So the repetition, even the repetition of the alphabets will not be seen in the enciphered encoded one. So this is how this Hill-Cipher method works, and you can just practice these 2 problems. That is just for fun. Suppose if your math teacher sends you a message, so it is, and you know that it is by Hill-Cipher, the Hill diagram cipher system. So this is the code. So you have to decode it. Then you can see what is happening. Then similarly, another code. That is when your friend is hiding some message from you, and only thing you know that you from his mobile you are taking this code, and encipher and see what is happening. It will be interesting. So for this you can take any 2 by 2 matrix as a key, or so 2 by 2 or even 3 by 3. So as you wish you can do it. See, here you are having spaces also. So the second code you can take, because both the thing has got both the message has got some space. So the space is used coded as 0. This you can see. Then, and also Adobe Photoshop. So in Adobe Photoshop, see this, so everything is actually it is transferred into bits. And it is linear transformation. So linear transformation means it is matrix only. So you can divide this into matrices, rows and columns, and then you can give coding, that is 1 and 0s. Then according to 1 and 0, the lightings can be done. So this is how it is done for. It is used in Adobe Photoshop. Then one more thing, that is it is like matrix multiplication. See, you have this function m of t, that is equal to 1 minus t into a plus t z. So this multiplication with scalar and sum of the matrices, you can create an image transition effect. So image can be, that is a beautiful image can be transformed into an ugly image. What we could see in many WhatsApp or Facebook. So many of the memes are coming. So this is the technique behind that. So two grayscale images of the same size can be represented by matrices A and Z. So this A can be multiplied by 1 minus 2, it is a scalar 1 minus t, and Z also is with tz. So now m of 0 will be A. So if you put t equal to 0, then it is t equal to 0 means this second term will go away. So it will be, you will be left with A. And if you have t equal to 1, it is 0. That means, so this t is defined only in the interval 0 and 1. So which means that you can take values. So if you want to see the translation, you gradually go with t, starting from 0, 0.01, 0.02, like that. So and up to 1 you can go. So you can see this image. See this image. So such a beautiful image is being translated like this. So it is actually, it is m of 0 equal to A. This is the original image. And then m of t equal to m of 1 equal to Z. This is the transformed image. That is step by step you can see the translation, and wherever you want to stop, you can stop. So this is how the matrix multiplication is used in the images. Then in electrical circuits, you can see the circuit here. There are two closed loops. Now loop 1, in loop 1 you have E1, which is the E1, R1 and R3. And E1 and E2 are the sources of voltage. So the voltage will be coming out, and R1, R2, R3 are resistors. Of course, I1 and I2 are current flowing across the resistor, amount of current flowing. Now, if you apply Kirchhoff's law, that is the input current is equal to the output. E1 will be equal to R1 I1 plus R3 into I1 minus I2. So the circuit, from the circuit, you pull out these equations, and then you imagine you convert this into a matrix equation and find out what is the amount of current. That is the right equations in matrix form. You write E1, E2 equal to, that is the coefficient. So you can see this, the coefficient matrix you can take R1, I1, I2 and R3, I1 minus I2. So in this, you can take the matrices I1, I2 as your X matrix and the coefficient R1 plus R3. So you just simplify that equation and take this coefficient. R1 plus R3 is the coefficient of I1 from the first equation, and minus R3 is the coefficient of I2 in the first equation. Similarly, from the second equation, minus R3 will be the coefficient of I1 in the first second equation, and R2 plus R3 will be the coefficient of I2 in the second equation. So first row represents the first equation and second row represents the second equation. Even E2 are in the left hand side, that is the matrix. So these matrix E, R, I. So actually E equal to Rx, Ri, E equal to Ri. Now you want to find out I. IE will be equal to R inverse of I. So actually this matrix is E equal to R times I. Now you want I. I means you multiply R inverse on both sides. So R inverse into E equal to R inverse into R. That is nothing but the unit matrix. Yesterday we have seen R inverse into R will give you a unit matrix, and you will be left alone with I1, I2 on the right hand side. So this I can be taken, can be found out by using this property. So R inverse is equal to 1 by R1 plus R3. So this is your R inverse. And finally, you can find the, when you multiply with E, you can find what is I. Then in robotics, so robotics also matrices are used as actually translation and rotation. So this gives the transformation can be seen as the product of translation and rotation. So first you translate and then rotate. Only in the joints. The joints, this concept of matrices is very useful. Then in information security, so there also it is used as to track information, perform such queries and manage databases. That is, every office is using this one. That is the thumb impression machine, where you use the biometric is stored. So all the biometrics is stored, and then it is a secure thing, so that you know whoever comes inside and whoever goes outside. So everything is recorded as in the form of matrix, because to analyze any data, as we have seen ma'am is saying, big data analytics. So this comes under that. So you, how much ever data you want to store, that has to be analyzed. So and in that process, matrices will be of helpful. Now in geology also there are many things, making seismic surveys, then plotting graphs, statistics, and also to do scientific studies and research. So every field in different fields, and then representing real world data like the population of people, infant mortality, etc. So there are many applications in geology also. So this is your for practice. So I will show you this slide again in the end, so you can copy down. So now I think we can go to next. Now, so what is trigonometry? I'm sorry. So what is trigonometry? So many of you would have studied, already known thing only. I'm just recalling it. So tri means three, gono means angle, and metry means measurements. So it is a combination of two Greek words, trigonometry. So the first word is trigono and the second word is metry. And the meaning is triangles and measurement. So put together you get triangle measurement. So the meaning of trigonometry is measurement of the angle in a triangle. So for this, first of all, we have to know what is trigonometry. So trigonometry is a branch of mathematics which studies about the angles in a triangle, about the angles in a triangle. So you can see this right triangle. So if you, this square is used, this notation is used that to denote that it is a right angled triangle, which means one of the sides of the triangle will be 90 degrees. And this is, if you assume that this is a theta, that is you want to measure the angle, then we call that theta. So under that theta, that is called as adjacent side. And the opposite side of this theta, that is called opposite. And the slanting line, slanting side is called as hypotenuse. So this is called the study about trigonometry. Now, So what is classical trigonometry? Actually, trigonometry as we seen yesterday, so even Pythagoras, before Pythagoras was born also, the concept of trigonometry was there. This was proved in many Vedic books. So until 16th century, it was chiefly concerned with computing numerical values of the missing parts of a triangle. But after that, it was developed by many mathematicians. So now before trigonometry, that is what we are studying now. Before that, only geometry was used to. That is, they will draw and then they will calculate everything. So geometry was very much useful to find out the angles. After that, only the trigonometry formula came. Now, so Pythagorean theorem. So what is in classical trigonometry? We see the Pythagorean theorem. It is statement about the length of the three sides in a right hand triangle, and it is of course in quantitative nature. It is born from geometry. Then see, not only in ancient days itself, we can study that, we can learn that Egyptian, Babylonian, everybody, even in China also, they've used this trigonometry very specifically to share for some shapes, and for the using the geometry and the trigonometry, they were doing mathematics there. Then in a Mediterranean world, actually, we know about the pyramids. So in pyramid, actually, if you have height of a pyramid is given to be 250 cubits, and so cubit is some measurement, that is 1 cubit equal to 7 palms. So the palm measurement, they use those palm measurement because those days they don't know meter, centimeter, everything. So those things were not there. So only with the help of our hand palms, they measured. So it is actually 1 cubit is equal to 7 palms. So if you have a pyramid with 250 cubits and one of its sides is 360 cubits, then it is the base side. 360 cubits is base, and what is the other side? That is it is an equilateral. No. So how can you measure this slanting side? So that is for this it is used right angle. It is conceived as a right angle triangle, and then the slanting height is being measured. So 120 cubits and 250 cubits. So if you take this, if you measure this, it becomes 1/25 palms per cubit. So this is how it was used in those days. Now coming to who invented trigonometry. That is, it is not actually, we cannot say that he invented, but before, when it was there before this, but he has given some precise structure to trigonometry. So Hipparchus in 190 BCE to 120 BCE he was there. So he's an astronomer, Greek astronomer and mathematician. So he has he is called as father of trigonometry because he constructed a table of chord lengths for a circle. So you know what is a chord? The chord is a line joining any 2 points inside the circle, any 2 points. So that is chord. So if you want to calculate the length, he actually formed a table itself. So to measure the chord lengths, and that is 360 into 60 units, which corresponds to 1 unit of circumference for each minute of arc. So minute means it is degree, minute, and seconds. So that is called 60 minutes is equal to 1 degree. 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute. So that is the calculation measurement they used. So only for this achievement, he was told as the father of trigonometry. He was called. Then next came even in India. So most of the mathematicians arise from ancient India. So he is one such person, Aryabhatta. So Aryabhatta, actually he defined sine, cosine and inverse and everything he gave. And he gave mathematical results in the form of 108 verses. So which included a formula of the area of a triangle also. So this is his story. And in ancient India, there were Bhaskara 1 and Bhaskara 2 were there in Karnataka. So Bhaskara 2 gave formula to find the values of sine functions for angles more than 90 degrees. And in 16th century, Malayalam work Yukti Pasha contains the proof for the expansion of sine of A plus B. So it is actually we are proving. See, there are many proofs for trigonometric formulae, but we can see one such proof in this work. Then exact expression for sines or cosines of 80 degree, 36 degree. So these exact measurements are given by Bhaskara. Now let us go into the subject. That is, it was developed to solve geometric problems first, and then, but now the trigonometry is used in many fields, such as for designing electric circuits and seismology, and to describe the state of an atom, like that, and much more applications you can find for trigonometry. Now everything is based on angles, isn't it? So first of all, we shall understand what is an angle. Angle is a measure of rotation of a given ray. So if you take a ray, so from the origin you draw a ray, and means it is a line with an arrow. So on any slanting, any angle you can draw. Now, so first you draw a horizontal line. Horizontal line means it should be clearly horizontal. So this horizontal, because we are going to take this as an index. Now this is called as initial side. And then, and the final position. So just slightly you give a move from OA to OB. So how far it has moved, or how much angle it produced from going from OA to OB position, from this position to that position. So that is called an angle, and O is called the vertex. So this joining point is called vertex. So this is the initial side, and this is the terminal side. So from the initial side, how far it has gone, that is terminal side. So this is measured. This is denoted as theta, alpha. So many notations we can use. Now that is positive side, and this is negative side. So if you drop this angle, if you move this angle downwards, then you call that angle as negative of theta. So this will be minus angle, negative angle. So positive and both negative we have. Now, what is the relation between degree and radians? So that many of us will get confused. So a circle subtends at the center an angle whose radian measures is 2 pi. So circle, so how will you draw a circle? So take a point. If you see earlier, how will you draw a circle? Now you are drawing it in mobile or computer, or any software has come to draw a circle. But you on your paper and pen, see, you cannot draw a circle with a pen just like that, because you may not get a perfect circle. So how will you draw a circle? So you take a compass, put your pencil in that, and you just pin one of the ends of the compass in at the point O, and then you take the measurement of radius. That is, the compass, you know, that itself is looks like an angle. So the other end you have to measure with the scale, maybe 2 centimeters or 3 centimeters, and then you put that pointed end on your notebook, and then with the pencil you just rotate your compass. So you will get a circle. So that center is the origin, first of all. Okay, so from there only the circle will be produced. Now, so the rotation, how much rotation you are doing? You are doing 2 pi radian measure, or 360 degrees of angle you are rotating. So that is how a circle is drawn. So a circle subtends at the center an angle whose radian measure is 2 pi and its degree measure is 360 degrees. So either you can say it as 2 pi radians or you can say it as 360 degrees. So that is how you say 2 pi radian is nothing but 360 degrees. Or if you take the half of this radian, you say that pi radian equal to 180 degrees. So what is 1 degree? That means pi by 180. So 1 degree will amount to pi by 180 radian. So this is approximately 0.01746. Then, so what is 1 radian in degrees? 1 radian is 180 degree by pi. That is 57 degrees 16 minutes approximately. Okay. So I think somebody has got some doubts. Right. So next, what is again? See, this is the table which gives you the relationship between the degree and radian. So 30 degree means it is pi by 6, 45 degrees is pi by 4, and so on. 36 degrees is 2 pi. So you know everything. This is just to recall. Now in their standard position, see, you call the first part as quadrant 1, first quadrant, because this x-axis and y-axis divides this plane into 4 parts. So the first part is the first quadrant, and the second part is the second quadrant, third part is the third quadrant, fourth part is the fourth quadrant. So what are the angles in each quadrant? So here it starts from first quadrant from 0 to 90. The angles, if you measure, you can go from start from 0 up to 90, you can measure. And the second quadrant will have, so 91, 90 is this vertical line, and so from that 90, after 90 to till 180, you have the second quadrant. Then after 180, 180 to 270 will give you third quadrant, 270 to 360 will give you fourth quadrant. So these are the angles in the standard position. Now, so you should have this vertex is at the origin. So standard position, first of all, you should have the vertex of the angle should be at origin. Wherever you want, you cannot draw and say it is a standard position. So vertex should be at the origin. So that is when you using protractor, you have to keep your center line of the protractor at origin, and its initial side is along the positive x-axis. So an angle is said to be in first quadrant if the standard position, its terminal side falls on the first quadrant. So the terminal side should fall on which quadrant? So that is called as the that is how the angle is measured. So if it is if you want to be in first quadrant, your angle should be between 0 to 90. So that is 0, 90, 180, 270 and 360 are all quadrantal angles. They are called like that. Then of course this important rule everybody should remember, that is ASTC. So how will you remember this? Always study trigonometry carefully. So this sentence you can remember, always study trigonometry carefully. That is in counterclockwise. So all, A means all means all are positive, cos theta, sin theta, tan theta. So here if you want to measure sin theta, you can say that it is of positive value, it takes positive value. And then in the second quadrant, yes means sin. So only sin theta is positive. Add sugar to coffee. Yes, Mohammed. Yes, all. So if you want to remember about eating, you can use this sentence also. That is, add sugar to coffee. He is giving one more example. But I like this only. Always study trigonometry carefully. Okay. So then yes means sin. Sin is, so in the second quadrant, only sin is positive, cos and tan are negative. Then in the third quadrant, tan is positive, cos and sin are negative. And then in the fourth quadrant, only cos is positive, other two are negative. Then, so ratios, we know, everybody should know this, That is sin theta means it is opposite side by hypotenuse side, and cos theta is adjacent side by hypotenuse side, and tan theta of course is opposite side by adjacent side. And this can be extended to cosecant theta, secant theta, and cot theta also. So if you reciprocate these things, you will get cosecant theta, secant theta, and cot theta. So now, so rotation, how will you rotate? So if you measure, if you slide your line to upwards, then it is positive. If you slide your line to downwards, then it is called negative angle. So that is, if you go counterclockwise, that is called positive angle. If you draw anti-clockwise, then you call it as negative. Then if you rotate clockwise the ray, so that is, you fix at the origin, and that is the vertex, and you rotate and then turn back to its original position. That means, so this is 1 degree. Suppose if you want to have is 1 degree, which means 1/360th of a revolution. So what is 1 degree? 1 degree is 1 out of 360th revolution. So 360 revolutions you are doing. So out of one part will give you 1 degree. So degree, minutes, and seconds. So we shall see how to convert this degree into degree, minutes, and seconds. Actually, it is 32 degree 590 minutes. So this can be split into 32 degree plus 0.519 degrees. So 0 degrees, 0.519 degrees. Then you multiply with 1. This is nothing but you multiply with 1 degree. Anyway, the value will not change. So 1 degree into 0.519. So what is 1 degree in minutes? That is 60 minutes. So this 60 minutes you multiply with 0.519, you will get 31.14 minutes. So that is, if you now you add these two, 32 degrees and 32 degrees 31 minutes plus 0.14 minutes. So because this is 31 minutes, 0.14 minutes. So this can be split into 31 minutes plus 0.14 minutes. That 31 minutes you write here along with degree. 32 degree 31 minutes plus 0.14 minutes. Again, you multiply one minute with this. So that 1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute into 0.14, that is 60 seconds. So 60 seconds, 1 minute equal to 60 seconds, 0.14. Then if you add everything, you will be getting 32 degree 31 minutes 8.4 seconds. So this is how you can convert degree, minutes, and seconds. Now, so radian measure, actually it is called an angle whose vertex is center. It's called a central angle. So if it is centered, it is called central angle. So this radian is always abbreviated as rad, R-A-D, and this length, arc length, is denoted as S. So we have to find out what is S. We have to understand that concept. So before that, we shall see how angles are being classified. So as we told already, a 90 degree angle is called a right angle, and 180 degree angle is called a straight angle, and between 0 and 90 is called acute angle, and 90 and 180 is called obtuse. So two angles are said to be complementary if you add those two and get the sum as 90. Then you call it as complementary angles. And then supplementary means if you add these two angles, then you should, if you get 180, then it is called supplementary angles. So angles in standard positions with terminal sides that lie on a quadrant axis are called quadrantal angles, that we have seen already. 0 plus or minus 90 plus or minus 180. What are the types of angles? So this is straight angle. As we said, this angle measures 180 degree, and then this is right angle. This angle measures 90 degree. Acute angle means this angle will be between 0 and 90. That is called acute angle. And obtuse is greater than 90. 90 to 180. That will be called as obtuse angle. And complementary is if you add two angles, you should get 90 degree. And And when you add these two angles and getting 180, that is called supplementary. Figuratively, we are explaining. These fundamentals also you should know. That is, the straight line consists of all straight line will have 180 degree, and then circle consists of 360 degree. So in the circle, so we should have one radius. So radius is the parameter for a circle. Without radius, you cannot. Without radius or and circle, you cannot define center. You cannot define a circle at all. So the equation of the circle is x minus a the whole square plus y minus b the whole square equal to r squared, where a and b are centers and r is the radius. So you should have two things. You should have to draw a circle. So you should know the center and you should know the radius. Then only you can draw a circle. Now in this circle, we are actually radius is denoted as r, and this radian is the angle. So this one is the angle made by an arc whose length equal to radius of the circle. So this is actually how this is equal to the this angle. This angle is equal to radius of the circle. In the next slide you will see. So now arc length is actually it is the radian. You can see this. See how one arc is 1 radian. Angle is 1 radian. How we are drawing. See that arc. So that arc actually it is nothing but radius. So when you move that radius, you get an arc. So central for a circle of radius r and a central angle of radius subtends an arc whose length s is given by the formula s is equal to r theta. So how s is equal to r theta? So that r times theta. Okay, so that how we have to prove that. We are going to prove that. So before that, I hope this you understood. So what is s? S is equal to r theta. Yes, Mohammed, what is your doubt? You can type in chat box. Okay, so now let us see how we are going to prove this s is equal to r theta. Now take s as the length of an arc, that is s subtends an angle theta. Then the circumference of the circle is nothing but arc length, isn't it? Then ratio of the circumference of the diameter equal to radian measure. This ratio is defined as pi. So C equal to 2 pi r. Circumference, we know the formula 2 pi r. So 2 pi r is nothing but the length of the circle. So when you take that circle and you measure with the scale, you will get it as 2 pi r. Where here 2r is nothing but d. So 2 pi. So that means what is 2 pi? It is c by r. So from this equation, you can know that 2 pi equal to. So what is 2 pi? C by r. Or pi is nothing but the ratio between the circumference and the diameter. So that is the value of pi. So the ratio 2 pi of the circumference of the circle to the radius is called the radian measure of one revolution. Because we want one revolution is 360 degrees, and we have seen already 360 degrees is nothing but this 2 pi. So that means 2 pi is the circumference of the circle with if one revolution. Okay, that is 360 degrees, which are 4 right angles. So what is that 360 degree? You have 4 right angles in the 360 degree. 4 right angles at the center. So now the ratio of any arc length to the radius. So that is arc length is s, and the ratio of arc length to radius is denoted as s by r. So that will be the radian measure of the central angle. So which subtends an angle of theta. So that is how theta is nothing but the radian measure, isn't it? So that is nothing but the ratio between the arcual length and the radius. So the ratio between s by r, between s and r is measured as the radian measure of theta. So this is how we get s is equal to r by theta, which is a very important thing, because you should know how this arc length is measured every time. Okay. So now, what is see? We are looking into different perspectives of the angle. So you are coming to the practical application. That is angle of elevation. So when you look, so where do you stand this matter? Yeah, Mohammed. Actually, what is the need? See, generally there are need of. So his question is, Mohammed asking one question. What is the need to measure angles in two different units? That is degree and radian. Yes. See, I actually degrees. In those days, even see when you have 90 degrees and 360 degrees, 180 degrees. That is, degrees are usually normally used to draw angles. And when you calculate, when you go for if you want to convert into length or distance, so then you need the relation between degree and radian. So that is why we are using this. So in those days, degrees were used mostly, and when science has developed for practical purpose, we are using radian, because as you say, that is the circle, area of the circle. So area of the circle, if you want to measure, you are saying only mere number. You are not denoting it as a degree. And volume of a cylinder. So that also, there also you have pi. So there also you have some circles. So circles means you use degree again. So that is why we need some relationship between degree and radian. So that is why we are doing this. Okay. Now, so angle of elevation. So what is an angle of elevation? Angle of elevation is, suppose if from the vertex you are standing and you are looking some object higher than you. So that is angle of elevation. Now, when you are actually standing here on the vertex and you are looking down, so when you are looking up, you call it as angle of elevation. And when you are looking down, so some angle, your head will, your eyesight will subtend some angle. So that is called angle of depression. Okay. So if you looking at an object higher than you, that is, it is object on the top of you, then you call it as angle of elevation. Otherwise, if you looking down, then you call it as angle of depression. That is below the horizontal line. That is called angle of depression. So you can see this image. So when you are standing in a rock and you are seeing a flight, you call this as angle of elevation. But when you are looking into the ship, you call it angle of depression. Okay. So this is x degree is the elevation and y degree is the angle of depression. This is the understanding. Now, so just from a tree. So if you are standing here and you are looking at the top of the tree, and which your eyesight subtends an angle 64.3 degrees, and you are moving, you are away from the tree 150 units. So what is the height of the tree? So this everybody you use the tan theta, that is opposite side by hypotenuse, and then you calculate. Okay. So many problems you would have done in your school days. So that is how to calculate the height, or sometimes you will be calculating theta also, given height and distance. So all those things you know. Just it is an illustration. Now, so why do you want to study? What are the functions of an angle? Why do you want to study an angle? So trigonometry means you call it as you sin theta, cos theta, tan theta. Okay, that is you need some function. Okay, so to study any triangle, so you have right angle triangle, scalene triangle, equilateral triangle, everything. And so for all those triangles, you need to find because practically many shapes are there with triangles. So we need to know how to measure the sides of each triangle and what is the angle if you're given a side, what is the angle? So for those to study those things, you need to know these relationships. So what is the relationship between sine theta and the sides, cos theta and the sides? So first of all, you take x-axis and y-axis and you plot a point P x comma y. So with this, and draw the line, join this origin with the point P, and then this angle subtends, you take it as theta, and this position vector, that is from the origin to the point, you mark it as R. And x and y are the variables. That is, the point can be plotted in anywhere in this plane, but still you say that it is point x coordinate comma y coordinate and abscissa. So x is the ordinate and y is the abscissa. So x, which means that this point is away from the origin along the x-axis, x distance, and from the origin along the y-axis, y distance. So this is the height of the point is y, and the length of the point from the origin is x. So this is how first you start with. Now we are going to do with all these measurements. So P of xy is on the terminal side. R is distance from the origin. Now, according to Pythagoras theorem, your R is equal to root of x squared plus y squared, because this is a right angle triangle. So right angle at this point. Okay, in adjacent side and opposite side, that is right angle. So R is equal to root of x squared plus y squared. And you can see this if you square both sides, R squared equal to x squared plus y squared. That is nothing but the equation of the circle. So equation of the circle with radius R and center at the origin 0, 0. So from there only, you can identify this as the equation of the circle. See, whenever you are studying one equation, you should identify all the related things. Then only you can think better. Okay. So R is equal to root of x squared plus y squared. These are the, now this will be helpful for us to study further about trigonometric functions. Now remember that x is not equal to 0 and y not equal to 0. If x is equal to 0, then it is only y axis. And if y equal to 0, then it is only x axis. So no theta, no angle. Now sine theta. So sine theta is, as already we have seen, opposite side by hypotenuse. That is y by r. Cos theta is x by r. Tan theta is y by x. And of course, cosecant theta is all the reciprocals. So this we know. Now, if theta equal to k times pi, that is pi is, of course, we know that it is 180 degrees. So k times that pi, k an integer, then the functions cosecant theta and cot theta are undefined, because so there is no on the terminal side they will become 0. Okay. And also, if theta equal to 2k plus 1 times pi by 2, then the function secant theta and tan theta are undefined. So this is the message from this concept. Now, what are odd and even functions? So now we know, yesterday we have seen f of minus x, if it is equal to plus f of x, then you call it as an even function. Then f of minus x is equal to minus f of x, then you call it as an odd function. So now here, even in trigonometric also, there are odd functions and even functions. So which are odd and which are even? Only cos t and secant t are even. Others are all odd functions, because the cosecant cos of minus t alone is cos t, and secant of minus t alone is secant t. So this is so there are only 2 even functions you have to remember. And this table, everybody we should remember, and of course I hope you remember always. So what is sine 0? Sine 0 is 0. Sine 45, 2 by 2. Sine 90 is 1. And you just reverse this. So for 90, for sine 90 equal to cos 0, and sine 60 equal to cos 30, sine 45 equal to cos 45. So on the reverse side, if you write, you can write it as for cos value, and then tan is sine by cos. So sine divided by cos, 0 by 1, 1 by 2 by root 3 by 2, root 2 by 2 divided by root 2 by 2, root 3 by 2. So like this. And 1 by 0, why it is not defined? Because 0 you cannot put in the denominator. So if it is in the denominator, you will get infinity as the value. So that is why tan 90 is not at all defined. Similarly, secant also not defined. Okay, so this is also not defined, and cosecant 0 is not defined, cot 0 is not defined. So these things we know already. Now let us see some interesting part, that is graphs. So many graphs you should know. So this sin x, see, you should know how to draw the graph. See, you should start from 0. So this graph should start from 0, and then it should touch the x-axis only at 5, not before that. So for that, you need to first divide this x-axis into these intervals, that is 0, 5 by 6, 5 by 2, 3 pi by 5 pi by 6, 5, 7 pi by 6, 3 pi by 2, like that. Or if you want, you can even do like 0, 1 pi by 2, 2 pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, like that. So 2 pi by 2 is 5. So it should again, say when you start going upwards, you should touch the x-axis again only at 5. Is sin 0 is 0, and again it will meet the x-axis only at 5. Only when x is equal to 5, sin x will meet the x-axis at x is equal to 5. And again it goes down. So here everywhere it is negative, and then it comes and touches again then at 2 pi only. So this is one cycle, 0, pi, 2 pi, 0 to 2 pi. So that is why the period of sine function is 2 pi. So 0 to 2 pi, it takes various values, and after 2 pi, this will be repeated. See, this is one cycle. The first diagram is one cycle, and the second diagram is the full complete graph. So even you can start wherever you can start. You can start from 0. Okay, that will give you one cycle. So from 0, if you start, even on the negative side of x-axis, you can start. So 0, go up and touch the x-axis only at pi, go down and again touch only at 0, and again go up, touch only at pi. So all multiples of pi, you will touch the x-axis. So this is with sine axis. And what is cosine? That is cos. See, cos x, you start from 1 because we know that cos 0 is 1. Okay, so when x takes the value 0, your cos 0 is 1. Y will be 1. So start from y, and there it touches the x-axis at pi by 2 because cos pi by 2 only is 0. So starting from 1, it touches pi by 2, and again go below on the negative side. Then it will touch minus 1 straight at pi because cos pi is minus 1. So cos 0 is plus 1, and then cos pi is minus 1. Then go up. After that, it should increase. See, first you're decreasing. From 1, the function is decreasing. Decreasing till pi it is decreasing. After pi, it becomes increasing. So it is increasing, and then it touches the x-axis at 3 pi by 2. That is see, this pi by 2, 1 pi by 2, 2 pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 4 pi by 2, like that. So now 1 pi by 2 it touches. It touches all odd pi by 2. So you can remember in this way. So this cos graph touches the x-axis at all odd multiples of pi by 2. That is, at 1 pi by 2 it touches, and again 3 pi by 2 it touches, and the next it will touch only at 5 pi by 2. Okay, so but at pi, that is at pi, 2 pi, everywhere it will be oscillating. So for odd number of pi's, it will take minus 1. For even number of pi's, it will take plus 1. So for 2 pi, it is plus 1. You can see the complete graph. This is one cycle. This is complete graph. See, for minus 2 pi also, it is 1. And then for odd pi, minus 1 pi. Minus 1 pi is again minus 1. Then here, this is pi by 2. This is minus 3 pi by 2. Okay. See, this is minus 1 pi by 2. After 0, here it is minus 1 pi by 2. So minus 1 pi by 2 means cos takes value 0. That is, cos touches at pi, all pi by 2, minus 1 pi by 2, minus 3 pi by 2. Then here again plus pi by 2 and 3 pi by 2, then 5 pi by 2, 7 pi by 2. All odd number of pi by 2s, it will touch the x-axis. But at all multiples of pi, it will have either 1 or minus 1, alternate. So for odd multiple of pi, you will have minus 1. For even multiple of pi, you will have plus 1. Okay, so this is the complete graph. And similarly, you have y equal to 2 sin x and y equal to 3 sin x. If you draw on the same graph, what happens? It intersects, of course, but you can see that the graph, the structure of the graph is like this. See, this inner graph is 2 sin x and the outer graph is 3 sin x. How it is coinciding? And then 2 cos x. What happens to 2 cos x? It is a broad, this one, pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, 2 cos x. Then some more graphs you can see, tan x. So tan x, one cycle is like this and the complete graph is like this. Then translation. So this is how it translates. See, the original sin x is in the red color, and it is translated to 1 unit distance. So when you just move it to 1 unit distance vertically, so the graph gets a translation like this. It is like this. Mostly in music, if you see, you can wave motion. Actually, it is a wave. For wave motions, it will be very interesting to study about sine and cos translation, rotation everywhere. Even just in the starting also, we have seen the rotation and the translation in robotics. There also the angle is used. Now, see, look at this. So this is for many sine functions are drawn in the same graph. So f of x is equal to 4 sin x, 3 sin x, 2 sin x, and 1 sin x. So all these graphs put together, you have like a waveform. So and in the below also you can see that. So the red color is the original sin x, sin theta, and then blue is sin 2x. And see, when you reduce the amplitude x by 2, angle half, so this becomes a very broad one, 0 to 2 pi. So it starts from 0, it goes and touches again only at 2 pi. So now where it touches. Sine and cosine graph. This is a transformation of sine and cosine graph. So y equal to sin x is a blue graph, y equal to 2 sin x, and y equal to sin 2x is like this. So these are some things. Now coming to the important part, what are trigonometric identities? So these identities you should know. You already would have by hearted, but I don't know how many of you proved it. See, every identity you can prove. That is the interesting part of the trigonometry. But of course, I'm not going to do that. So, but I'm going to give you only these identities. These proving all these identities, you can take it as a practice. You should prove all the identities. So now basically sin theta is cos of pi by 2 minus theta, that is cos 90 minus theta. These are all complementary angles, and then secant theta is 1 by cos. So this you know. So these are the identities. The basic identity is sin square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. And then if you divide throughout this cos square theta, you will be getting another identity, that is tan square theta plus 1 plus tan square theta equal to secant square theta. Similarly, 1 plus cot square theta equal to cosecant square theta. So these identities, this is how you have to prove. From known formula only you can prove. Then some more identities, even and odd identities. So sine of minus theta is minus sin theta. As we said, it is an odd function. And only cos and secant are even function. So quotient identities, all these things you know. And this is a formula, sin A plus or minus B. That is sin A cos B plus or minus cos A sin B. And cos of A plus or minus B is cos A, cos B, minus or plus. So if you have plus here, you will get minus. If you have minus here, you will get a plus. And one more formula is cos of A plus or minus B in terms of tan theta. So tan theta plus or minus tan phi by 1 by 1 by 1 minus or plus tan theta tan phi. These are all some more identities. And so double angle identity, sin 2 theta equal to 2 sin theta cos theta. So these things, and half angle identities are sin square theta, you can express as half angle. So if you have theta, you should multiply by 2 here, 1 minus cos square theta by 2. And cos square theta will have plus here. And tan square theta is 1 minus cos square theta by 1 plus cos square theta. So sum and product. So you can express the sum of the function into product of two functions. Sum of two trigonometric functions as a product of two functions. So sin theta plus sin A plus sin B equal to 2 sin A plus B by 2 cos A minus B by 2 like that. And the product can be expressed as sum or difference. Product to sum of two angles. So this is also possible. These are all very important to know this. Now, so about unit circle, there are you should know. See, if you draw a unit circle on x and y axis, see you can see that in the negative side on the x axis it is minus 1 comma 0, and the positive side it is plus 1 comma 0. So here you start from 0 degree and go on and on, and 180 degree will come back again at x axis, and then go down and then come back at 360 degree. So here it is 0, 5 by 6, 5 by 4, 5 by 3, 5 by 2, and then it actually it is going on like this. But one thing you have to notice is what are the points we would have never thought. What are the points at 5 by 6? So at 5 by 6, the points of x point that is the value of x is 2, 3 by 2, and y is 1 by 2. So this is very essential when you study about complex numbers, because see this this unit circle. So when you study about analyticity of a function, so you should know all these points. So pi by 6 is nothing but the coordinates are root 3 by 2 comma 1 by 2. See, this is a unit circle. First of all, what do you mean by a unit circle? The radius is 1. So 0 to 1 here. So the diameter is 2 and radius is 1. That is called unit circle. And pi by 4 is root 2 by 2 comma root 2 by 2. And of course, see what is the general formula for any point with respect to sine and cos? Can anybody tell me on any point of a circle how you can express x and y in the form of sine and cos? Or what is the relationship between x, y and sine theta and cos theta? Can anybody answer me? Okay, x is equal to r cos theta, y equal to r sin theta. Okay, so this is so when you draw, see, suppose if you want to find out what is this point, so you draw a line from this point to the origin, or from origin to this point, and drop a perpendicular like this. Then form the right angle triangle and then find this point. What is x? What is y? So because you know this angle, sin 30 or cos 30, can be anything. So like this, you have all these points. You can work out and see whether it is correct. Okay. So this is the information about unit circle. Then inverse trigonometric functions. So inverse trigonometric functions, they are again inverse function. So properties, we have domain and range. So the domain and range will change. So domain of sine inverse will be range of sine x. So similarly, you have it is spread from closed interval -1 to +1, and the sine inverse will be from -pi by 2 to +pi by 2. So this is some information about inverse sine, and of course we are having inverse cos also. Inverse cos function. So this is the graph for inverse cos function. Then tan x. So this tangent function you have, this is the inverse tan function, and then So one more concept is solving the trigonometric equation. So how to solve a trigonometric equation? Suppose if you have sin squared x minus sin x equal to 0. So how will you, first of all, you factorize. So you take the sin x outside and you write it as sin x into sin x minus 1 equal to 0. So which means what? Either sin x is equal to 0 or sin x minus 1 equal to 0. So if sin x is equal to 0, what happens? X will take 0. Now we have seen in the graph. So what are all the points? Sin takes 0, that is wherever it meets the x-axis, that is 0, pi, 2 pi, etc. Then the solutions of the equation are sin x is equal to 1 or 0. So when sin x will be 1, it should have 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2 pi. So only one solution, that is x equal to pi by 2, because between 0 to 2 pi you have only one solution. X is equal to pi by 2. Okay. Then solution set is 0, pi by 2, pi and 2 pi. And then laws of angles. So laws of sines. So if you have what is the law of sines? Determining the measures of all the sides and angles of a triangle is referred to solving the triangle. So if you are given ABC and then you have a perpendicular height and we call that it as H, and A, B, C are the sides, small letters are sides of the triangle and capital A, B, C are the vertex points. So if you have like this, so the law of sines is derived as A, that is sin A by A equal to B by B, and out of this you can see that sin A by sin A equal to B by sin B equal to C by sin C. So this is the derivation done with this figure. So H is equal to B sin A and H is equal to A sin B. Then you just write B sin A equal to A sin B because both are H, or you just divide A by AB, you will be getting sin A by A, that is equal to sin B by B. And finally you arrive this law of sines. A by sin A, that is side by sine of the side, angle sine of the angle A, and equal to B by side B by sine of the angle B, and C equal to C by sine of the, all these ratios are equal. Similarly, we have law of cosines also. So law of cosines is cos A equal to B squared plus C squared minus A squared by 2BC. So because these are the things brought out of this triangle, then A squared by using the formula A squared equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. So all these, with using these formula, you can derive what is cos A, cos B, cos A. So this is law of cosines. And of course law of tangents. So there are also law of tangents are there. And then so some illustration. So from this tunnel you can find out what is C squared, what is one side. So using that formula you can find out approximately. Okay. And this is another important proof. How will you find a formula for sides of the area of the triangle using sides? Now if S is equal to A plus B plus C by 2, we see S the half of the perimeter of the triangle. A plus B plus C by 2 is half of the perimeter of the triangle. Now, so take this triangle. So this is ABC and drop a perpendicular from the point B, and that is H. So now, if you take this B and this measurement as P, so then this will be B minus P. So with this measurements, you can write A square minus B squared as C squared equal to B minus P whole squared, or solving this, you can find out what is P. P is A square plus B square minus C square by 2. Now, so what is the continuation? How will you find out H? So H, after some calculation, you see that 4S into, because what is S? S is A plus B plus C by 2. That means for A plus B plus C, you can replace it by 2S. So 2S and then minus A plus B plus C, it is nothing but S minus A. Like that, if you replace and if you change everything into S, you will be getting H squared as 4S into S minus A into S minus B into S minus C by B squared. Now what is your H? H is root of this. And after finding out H, you get the area of the triangle. So area of the triangle is half into base into height. So this is root of S into S minus A into S minus B into S minus C. And one instrument is there to measure angle, that is called theodolite. So this is the theodolite. It measures the angle between an object and the eye of the observer. It consists of two wheels placed at right angles to each other and a telescope. So the wheels are used for the measurement of the horizontal and vertical angle. This is called theodolite. And then some more applications we can see that in civil engineering. And then even in the game what you're playing. So one game that is called Mario. So here it jumps all the jumps along the y-axis. So how does it jump? So you need a calculation. You need trigonometry. So you need, it is nothing but a parabolic path. So that means trigonometry is applied there. And of course in engineering, so the height of the flight, so where from how far it is flying and how it is going to face the wind movement. So all those things you need trigonometry. And of course in excavation also, so right angle triangle is being used. And then in criminology, so actually it is a recent study. So in research paper I have taken this. So when you have a blood stain, so you can see that in blood stain, so some blood is split in a criminal place where the murder or something is done. So what they do is compare the length of the trajectory of impact. So the length of the trajectory is being measured and the height of the blood spray. So from where it would have sprayed. So like this, they would be calculating. This is the angle. This is the angle they are calculating, and then flight distance. So many they calculate all possible points. So wherever it would have been, and then they form a table, and then they calculate what exactly from where it has been done and how it has been done. So that was a research. Then in marine also you use trigonometry to find the distance, and of course similarly in space also. And in music, as I told you, this is anyway it is a waveform, sound waves. So when you increase or decrease the amplitude, you get the different music is being played. So there also trigonometry works. That's all. Okay. So now the practice problems. So if you have any questions, you can ask.
Participants, if you have any questions, you can post it in the chat box, and request all the participants not to be much bothered about the feedback form now. We can see about the feedback form later, even after the end of the session also. If you have any issues in filling up the feedback form, you can send a mail to the mail ID acevents@alphagroup.edu. Not an issue. Hello. Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Is
Yes,
my voice okay, ma'am? Audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Audible only, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, Harikanan wants a recap on arc length.
Arc length. Okay. So when you have a circle, when you have an angle, okay, starting from the vertex, you draw a ray, horizontal ray, and move the ray to some distance. So that is measured as angle. That is called as angle. That is from the original position to some present position. So that is called as angle. And the curve you draw, curve drawn from the initial side. So from the initial side, see, suppose if it is the initial thing, and then if you move this ray to this distance, and you can draw yourself a curve. So see, look at this. See, this ray actually it is moving, and it constitutes this S. This is called S. This is called S. Now, how do you find out S? Because you don't know. Okay, S is equal to R theta. How much? Actually, 1 radian. It is actually 1 radian. But what is it? Is R radius times the theta. That is the arc length. So how do you prove this? So circumference. We know that circumference of the circle is nothing but arc length. Okay, because when you think of a thin string or thread, so you just start with this point and then hold the thread and then measure this up to this and then cut and then measure the length. That will be your 2 pi r. That is equal to 2 pi r. Okay, so circumference of a circle is nothing but arc length. So ratio of that means what? Ratio of the circumference, which is equal to radian. So ratio between the circumference of the diameter, that is d or 2r, and that is equal, and radian measure. Okay, circumference of the diameter is equal to radian measure. So this ratio is defined as pi, because see, 2 pi equal to circumference divided by 2r. So what do you mean by pi then? That is the ratio between the circumference and the diameter. Okay. So now the ratio of any arc length to the radius, that means we have called that as S. So S divided by R is your arc length. So in the previous slide we have seen that that theta is nothing but this circle. Okay, this radius actually it is moved. When you move like this, it forms this curve. It forms this curve. So that is why it is S by R. So this is how it is proved. I hope, am I clear? Is it clear, ma? Hill-Seyfer method. Huh? Okay. Satish Kumar, you want Hill-Seyfer method? Okay. See, Hill-Seyfer method is nothing but when you have a message. Okay, you write one message to your friend, and then given a key as 2 by 2 matrices, any 2 by 2 matrices, okay, then you get the code from that table from space to you start with space 0 and you write all the letters. You start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like that. Then comma, semicolon, full stop, everything you just write 26, 27, 28 like that. You'll be getting 41 characters. So you code it and you just send the key to your friend. Okay, what he has to do? He has to take 2 letters at a time. If you are going to send the key as a 2 by 2 matrix, you can form your own key. Any matrix can be a key. Any 2 by 2 matrix or even 3 by 3 matrix can be a key. So you send that key to your friend. Okay, and the message also. Or you first encode. You take a 2 by 2 matrix and then you take 2 letters at a time from your message. That is continuously. 2 letters at a time, and then those 2 letters you have to code it according to the 41 characters code. Okay, if you have A in your message starting, then you write 1. So you have to write it as a column matrix. So if you are going to take 2 by 2 matrix, then you take 2 letters at a time and then code it as a column matrix. Okay, then you find out. So you will have some answer. When 2 matrices are multiplied, you will be getting 1 matrix. That again you decode. That is, you decode it. That means you will be getting numbers. So according to those numbers, you write the letters. That means A will be encoded as some other letter, B will be encoded as some other letter. Okay, so this is the encoded message. So this encoded message, you send it to your friend and you ask him to decipher it by sending the key. So by sending the key means that key you have to invert it. Okay, that is, you find the inverse of the matrix and then you multiply with that again 2 by 2 you take and then you decipher it. So that is how Hill-Cipher method works out. Am I clear? Very good. Thank you. So any more questions?
Participants, any further doubt for you?
One more question been asked.
Yes, ma'am.
That cipher, this thing.
Hill-Cipher. Just now I explained it.
Hill-Cipher method is same thing, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Hill-Cipher method only I explained, ma'am. Do I have to share the PPT, ma'am, again? Actually, I explained orally. Ma'am?
Yes,
Ma'am?
yes, ma'am.
Should I have to share the PPT again, ma'am? Hill-Cipher method, it is in the previous PPT, ma'am.
If the participant is clear, then that's
Yeah,
it.
yes, ma'am.
He's
Yes,
clear,
ma'am.
ma'am. That's
Yeah,
it.
ma'am. Any more doubts?
Ma'am, I think it is clear now.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Any other doubts, participants?
Ma'am, we can wind up the session, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Tamil Selvi ma'am, for a very wonderful session. Participants, I hope you would have understood more about algebra, matrices, and trigonometry by now. If you have any further doubts or clarifications, you can mail it to the mail ID of Tamil Selvi ma'am, which is tamilselvi@alphagroup.edu. Also, if you are, you can also respond to ACE events at alphagroup.edu for any clarification. And if you want to know more about Alpha College of Engineering, you can also contact to this ACE events mail ID if you want to get to know about our college. The e-certificate link will be mailed to you today. So you can just fill up the details there and automatically the certificate will be sent to your email ID. And I think yesterday, Kirtana, there was some issue with your mail ID. If you can message me the mail ID in your chat box, I'll send the certificate link to you. Kirtana, are you there today? Ma'am, I think that's all, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
all.
all. If anybody is interested in joining Alpha, you can see our website, Alpha College of Engineering website, and there inquiry form is there. You can fill up the inquiry form, and with our admission team will contact you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, participants.
Ma'am, we can.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Conclude the meeting. Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.